All right, let's take a look at Pockington's build.
It's a 12-pointer with no special captain.
Well, thank you for that. It's good to know. This is the Schlieffen. Let's get rid of that one. And here is the Yorktown. All right, so you are going with Air Groups mod, aircraft engines, torpedo bombers, torpedo bomber HP, and then squadron consumables. So you're doing this so you get an extra smoke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Extra smoke, extra fighters. You mainly do it for the smokes, but it's not bad to have the fighters either.
Okay. Good point. Good point. Now, there is the ability to take the smoke generator here, which gives you a larger smoke screen. This, I think, would be more useful if you division with people. If you're able to coordinate your smokes and stuff, that comes in handy. But other than that, I mean, otherwise, torpedo bombers in the Yorktown are your bread and butter for doing damage. So it makes sense that you would want to buff the attack time for torpedoes. And then in terms of your other part, same thing with torpedo bomber HP. You could make the argument for buffing the bomber's HP as well. I can't remember, do the torpedo bombers in this get a heal?
Yes.
Yes.
They do. So, I mean, you could think of it as I can heal my torp bombers so I can buff the regular bombers, because you're using your bombers too, right? You're going to use your bombers for smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, hold on a second. I'm gonna. Can I move away from this? I don't know. Whatever. I was trying to get away from the noise. Sorry for the droning, guys. And then squadron consumables. I think it makes perfect sense for the support carrier. Normally, you'd want to go flight control mod, but I think that it makes sense to go for the extra fighters, extra smoke.
Also, flight control mod doesn't affect the tactical squadrons.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. So this has no bearing on your tactical dive bombers. So it only helps with your torpedo bombers. So even less of a reason to care. Also helps you with the rockets, I suppose, but the rockets. So you said you have a 12-pointer. You've currently invested 10 points into this build. You've got aircraft prep time, and then squadron speed, and then anti-air reduction, and then proximity fuse to hit and do damage to the torpedo bombers. Looks fine to me. Where are you going to go next?
I have no clue.
You said you have 12. You could do torpedo bomber for better arming distance into whatever you're dropping torps onto. You could go for repair specialist, so you can do better healing. I would definitely look at survivability expert to get extra HP for your aircraft. I think that one would be really helpful for you. So
Okay.
these two, you could maybe, I don't know, enhanced aircraft armor. You could look at site stabilization as well. And then maybe like one of your engine boosts or something. Grunty, what do you think?
So for 21, I like the fighter build for it. But if you don't want to go for a fighter build,
Okay.
this is probably what you do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now that's a good point, because when I was grinding it in the early access, I had some of the fighter skills as well. Which ones do we absolutely want if we're doing a fighter build?
You want the one on the 3-point skill.
This one here, interceptor. Mm-hmm. And then you said you want the 1-point skill as well for the patrol radius?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you don't care about the extra patrol fighter charge. I mean, it comes in handy, but if you're doing this, that kind of helps there. Enhanced reactions. Do you not want enhanced reactions? I thought I had that when I built
No,
mine.
you don't want enhanced reaction on this line. It's actively bad.
Okay, and why is that?
It's bad because these fighters on this line have a built-in enhanced reactions, kind of.
Okay.
Their engagement time, which is the time before attack, is already reduced by half.
Okay.
So it's only 2.5 seconds, and if you can just make the arrival time 50% longer and get the engagement time 80% down too, the math doesn't work out in your favor. It takes actually longer before they latch onto planes.
Yes. Okay, so this is a detriment. So you definitely want an interceptor because you get the patrol radius. And then this also gives you patrol radius, so you've got this just big circle of nope that you're going to put down.
The interceptor is the questionable skill here. Some people say, like, the main bonus of the skill is your fighters can't be shot down by other fighters.
Mm-hmm.
And they can also not be lured away by ASW planes. And I think they don't go after airstrikes either if you take that, so they will only go after attack planes from the enemy CV.
Okay, that's kind of nice.
However, some people argue that you might want to use your fighters to clear out enemy fighters so those don't spot. And if you take the skill, you can't do that anymore.
Right, because interceptors...
You can't spot with interceptors either.
These planes on these CVs already have only a 2 kilometer spotting radius, so that's less of a problem on this line.
Exactly. Exactly. When you're playing this carrier line, you're not using your planes to spot your fighters. So, I can see what you're saying by that, Grunty. You're basically using this as a way to lock out the enemy carrier, and you're also using it as a way to maybe try to support. Like it's like the ultimate support over your teammates, assuming your teammates are going to use it and understand that that's available. So, it's kind of it's kind of one of those, like the smoke thing I was talking about. If you're divvying with somebody else, this has more value because you're going to work with them to drop the interceptors.
It's like an opportunity pick, more or less, because the downside of not spotting is not really there on this line.
Mm-hmm.
And there is not that great of other skill to take where you would get huge benefits out of it.
Right. Okay. So, Pac, I mean, this would be more of a PvP style, right? This is more of a random battle.
I'm grinding the Yorktown through Operation Speed. I'm going to play random solo.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the end, S6 I will have more of a random battle build.
Of course. And that's why I wanted to highlight that for you. So you're because I saw you're doing this in an operation, and that's smart, right? Grind out things you're not maybe as confident in operations. You can do that in tier 6, 7, and 8. And now with the current April Fool's Pinata hunt, you can grind 8 and 9 in that mode too. So
that's probably even better than operations. Because I think the plane regeneration time on these tactical squadrons are a bit too long to make them really, really good for operations. But I might be wrong on that.
The more importantly, though, the games are faster on Pinata, and the XP gains are better. So, frankly, dude, yeah, I kind of agree. Pinata Hunt might be a better place for you to grind the ship out. And if you're going to do that, then you might as well also experiment and learn how to use these planes, right? So I think that's kind of a win-win for you because it puts you into a PvP environment where you can try the build and not,
Yeah, I think the Interceptor is actually great for grinding it out in Pinata mode because like 2 of the 3 Pinatas are CVs.
Yep.
And you can get good XP for shooting down their planes with your Interceptors.
Exactly. Plus, well, no, the Interceptors won't go after the Patrol Bomber Squadron consumable.
I think they don't. I'm 99% sure.
Okay. So, hey, let's say he does want to go with the lockout kind of a build. Where do we go next from here, Grunty? Survivability?
Okay, to be quite frank, I would take these skills last no matter what, the Interceptor. I would always go for my core survivability first, and I would probably buff the torpedo. So I would take the survivability expert.
Mm-hmm.
And I would take the torpedo bomber thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then you have 6 points left, and now I would go into the
okay. And then
the interceptors and the stuff.
And then you got 2 points left, so that's where you could do repair specialist. Boom.
You could do repair specialist for the bombs, or you could take 2 1-point skills.
Okay. Fair enough. In which case, you'd probably want to do improved engine boost and I don't know
I
if
think you
engine
take the
techies.
last gasp. It's not that
Yeah.
great for it because it only works for the torps. That's kind of the wasted point, but
Yep. Yep. Yep.
then again, you don't need to go up to 21 if you do it that way, which for some people might be beneficial because 21 is a lot of XP.
I'm gonna screenshot that.
Go for it. Here, let me.
I got it already.
Okay. Cool. Flags, none. You're in operations. Makes perfect sense. Now, if this is a random battle, I would probably say heal reduction. The smoke one, again, if you're division with people, then that's fine. Consumable prep would be good. Tip speed doesn't matter.
You take consumable prep. You take the flooding for sure.
You mean the flood
I'd
chance
probably
one?
take both fire chance flags if you really want to do
For the
it.
bombers.
Yeah. And I'd be inclined to take an AA flag.
You're guaranteed a carrier because you're bringing one. So
People like to go after these carriers too because they hate them. So
yep.
it's more of a thing for the Essex probably because the Essex is rather easily sniped.
Okay. Cool. So there you go. Remember, you can't detonate in carrier, so that saves you a flag there. If you want to be cheeky, you could always take a ramming flag because you just never know. But up to you. All right.
Even the burn duration flag is not that great, to be honest.
No, but you never know when that comes in handy, right? Until it's too late and whatever. This is kind of a fun screenshot too. Maybe I'll take that. All right, so let's get into your game. This is a operation. This is the Ultimate Frontier. I always called this one the Ultimate FU because it is one of the most difficult operations to play. And you're starting immediately with... Okay. So you started immediately with your bombers, and then you put down a fighter to keep those destroyers lit.
Makes sense. Like, it's an operation. You know the destroyers spawn there, and the bombs are the... If you're not comfortable with the torpedoes, the bombs are the best tool you have against those destroyers.
Yep, and they've got bad anti-air, so those planes will last longer. This is also
this
good.
This is the exact reason now what I said why I wouldn't play it in operations. Your rockets and bombers are now both on cooldown. You can't use them. And even if you go with the torps, they still gonna be on cooldown after probably.
That's okay. Now it's a reason to give you practice for torpedo bombers.
If you want a really big brain this and help your team, you could have just laid a smoke over that gap. And keep your ships concealed.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention
one of your
that.
ships is basically dead.
Yeah, the Benson.
Then again, it's a Benson, he has smoke himself, like, and he didn't use it, so...
I mean, frankly, in operations like this, something else silly and funny that you could do is build for secondary, smoke yourself in, and just bam on the destroyers.
I don't think the secondaries in the Yorktown are good.
No, I know. I'm just saying. If you're looking for a little bit of a hold my beer kind of a setup.
Speaking of which, like, it's kind of impressive to lose the destroyer on the first wave. Like, this requires some extraordinary skill.
Yep.
Jeez.
Nice drop there. Surprised you recalled. Is that just because you've got the tacticals available?
Yeah, I try to get the tacticals off cooldown as soon as possible. Also
You lose
because
so much time. Like, your planes are already there. Like, it takes you like 10 seconds to get another drop-off.
That's kind of what I was thinking, yeah.
And the damage is actually the best on your torps. Like, they are the best weapon you have. As weird as it sounds. So yeah, that shouldn't have recalled there.
Yep. Now you're starting to run out of torpedo bombers already.
It's because they didn't return yet.
Yep. All right, so rockets are up. Are you going to go back after the Indianapolis? Oh, you smoked yourself.
Yeah, I was laying a smoke screen.
Okay. One of the fun things you can do. I agree with that, Wolf. Targeting Indianapolis would be a good idea right now.
Yeah. I think in operation it's very, very important to get the ships out as soon as possible, especially if you're already down a ship.
Mm-hmm.
I do get it though why he recalled and wanted to use the tacticals. Like, it's very important to use them as soon as possible, kinda, because in a regular CV you wouldn't lose any time. You just regenerate the next plane. But if you don't use them immediately when they're available on a tactical, you actively lose time.
Mm-hmm. Curious as to the decision to come in like this. You're lucky though that New Mexico's turning. Making it easier for you.
I played this operation enough to know that they turn around this point.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, if it's a random battle, like, dude, what are you doing? Heal there, good. And that's correct, SAT. Torp bombers for this line, definitely the bread and butter for damage.
Like, you wouldn't think of that if you just look at them individually and think, oh, they only do like 3,000 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Here you should have recalled because you're not getting off the next attack. Planes were
Yep.
2.
Yep. Recall a little bit earlier, you might have saved one of your planes.
I don't think he would have actually saved the plane. The plane was dead anyway. But again, you saved time. Like, you
That's
flew
true.
for 5 seconds that you could have already been on the new squadron.
Okay, rockets up. Smoking yourself to get to the heal point. Okay. I have a funny feeling that this Gneisenau is going to be surprised by the Clemson.
I don't remember what happened to the operation.
It's a feeling I got. Now you're not going to help the team on the New
You're-
Mex, so you're expecting it to go down, okay?
Why is there still a battleship in the spawn, by the way? I'm
Repulse?
a bit confused.
I don't know what that guy does.
Mm.
And look at the Vanguard. Look where he's at. He's out there.
Well,
Like, you had no ship going up north to intercept at Atlanta.
Yeah, this is where I start going for after the Atlanta myself.
you kind of have to, but at the same time, you're gonna pay for that.
Yeah, Atlanta A is not good anymore. I don't think it can really do much to a tier 8 CV.
Well, let's find out.
I wouldn't go into the attack run that soon, though. Like,
Why not?
because it may, like, your maneuvering is impaired if you're in the attack mode. So it actually makes it harder to dodge the flak, and the flak is still shooting. So I would actually wait until you're in range of the AA, of the flak from the Atlanta, and then use the attack animation to change the altitude, which automatically dodges the first set of flags because you dive under them.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then you have to dodge maybe one salvo manually, and by the time the third one would go up, you're too close for the flag to hit.
Gotcha. Well, the Gneisenau did get a torpedo kill on the Clemson, so that's good. And the Atlanta did die.
The torps are 43 knots, I think. Or 42?
So you're gonna go after the Ranger now?
Yep, I think that's what I do next.
Okay. Because if you're doing that, I'm confused about the angle you're coming.
I remember getting
Torpedoes
distracted.
go.
I'm getting
43
distracted
knots.
around this point. I was looking off to my other monitor.
Okay. What were you
And
saying,
then I
Rob?
realized I run the H line that I'm a bit too far out.
The torpedoes on the Yorktown go 43 knots.
Okay. Yeah, because now you're forced to approach them from the rear, and that island protects them from this kind of an attack. Although I think you can get them right behind the island, maybe.
I wasn't expecting the ferry to be right there.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting it to be out in front, not all the way around.
All right. So now you can torp bomber, or you're gonna wait 10 seconds for the squadron again, the bombers.
I think I remember waiting.
Looks like you do. Yeah, it was a good rocket attack. I'm used to the was it the German line where like any little bump in the sea and the planes go wah, you know, like your targeting is really screwed up. And see, here's where those consumables or fighter build would have really been fun. You're watching. You're just like, what are they doing? What are they doing? And they latched.
I wanted to make sure they latch.
Mm-hmm. So, are you trying for the Sims now?
No, I was just trying to avoid the AA.
Okay. Because you want to get to the carrier?
Yep.
Okay.
That doesn't add.
There is. What is the Otherworld Kingdom, and what unusual societal structure does it promote? You're gonna... Okay. Decent hit. Now you're gonna go for rockets on him. So why are you ignoring the Sims in favor of the Ranger?
Namely because I presumed the Harbin would handle it in the Mgmt, but I later see that the Mgmt and the Harbin don't really handle it.
I wouldn't go for the destroyer with the tiny Tim rockets here.
No, I wouldn't either. The bombers maybe, but not the rockets. I agree. Well, the Harbin and Mogami have to deal with the Pensacola's and whatever else is coming through. I'm surprised it wasn't a battleship. Because I remember a North Carolina spawning there or something.
I think the first wave never spawned a battleship. Or like that first initial wave of like the group of threes.
Mm-hmm. I think you turned too early to attack here.
There's a battleship that just spawned in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see it now.
I would have just attacked through the Dallas and the Sims from the other side, to be honest.
Hmm. Either way, nice kill. Hey, Pally. Doing fine, thanks. How are you?
I would have just done it because it took so long to get around.
Quicker. Yeah.
And it's a tactical squadron, so it's
You don't
not that
care
the
about...
plane losses matter.
Right. Also, you actually have a chance to smoke up your Gneisenau now. You're not doing it, but you could.
I don't think I did it because he kept shooting his guns.
You probably need to smoke up yourself here.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, you smoke yourself and you smoke the Gneisenau now with these destroyers coming. Bit shaken up from the earthquake? Yeah, I heard about that. That was pretty nuts.
Well, I'm realizing the replay doesn't really show the circle narrow down at all.
No, it's a replay
Yeah,
bug
it's replay bug.
or feature.
I
however you
would
wanna
just
call it.
use my torps here. It's bots.
Mhm.
They move rather predictably.
And you've got a
Yeah.
minute. I mean,
Right now, I was just trying to maneuver so I can get out of the healing circle.
Like even before, like instead of that rocket attack, I would have just used the torps.
here's where, like I said, smoking yourself would have been really helpful here. And just to a lesser extent than the good nights and out, but you know.
Let's
Torps
be
and
fair.
torps and kill the
the-
Pensacola.
The Gneisenau should not have been there anymore. I
Well,
don't
a
know
lot
why
of
it was
sec-
camping the circle.
This is a secondary battleship. Lots of secondary battleships do that. That's not.
But he was camping like
surprising.
in a way that his secondaries couldn't even shoot for most of the time.
But that's
the
because
island
Pock
is-
was there.
I didn't even worry about the Pensacola because I assumed the fort was gonna kill it.
Well, I'm just thinking it's something for you to do if you want to really wait that full minute.
Right now, I was just kind of just worried on trying to get out alive.
Yeah, but I mean, you can just use your use the bombs. Just smoke yourself your dark. Since the autopilot in the smoke.
Yep. That's what you did. Okay, so now you switch to your rocket planes immediately. I might have not done that, so you have another smoke available if you need it.
You're definitely neglecting the torps too much.
Oh, it's good to see the repulses left to spawn.
Oh, there's smoke. Me battleship. Me go and smoke. Me shoot. Me die. I'm ready for it.
All right, there goes the Farragut. Good. Torp bombers again. You might as well. What else are you gonna do for 40 seconds?
Why do you recall? You had 3 planes left and a heal available.
I had his latched on, so I just screw it.
So why aren't you launching a torp bomber right now?
Honestly, I do not remember why.
Okay. You're leaving damage on the table. You have enough time to go do another torpedo run on the Cleveland or North Carolina and come back and still have about 10 seconds left before your tacticals are ready. There you go. I think you're starting to realize the situation. You got 1 repulse left and there's a Missouri bearing down on you now too. Yeesh. I don't think you can really afford to keep running. You might need to turn your carrier around too. Fort gets to Cleveland. Trying to heal through the anti-air. Get another strike in. Probably get 1 plane off on this. Yep. Smoking yourself? Okay.
Just sure I say unspotted. Since I'm the last one alive anyways.
Like,
I
you
would use
gotta
that
turn
smoke.
around.
I would
Like,
use that smoke to turn around, yeah.
You're
At
losing
least point
so
yourself.
much, like, you just lost like 15 seconds for the launch alone.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get back in the position where the planes should have started.
Yeah. So you need to flip your ship. Now that's where the smoke would have been handy, you know. Put yourself a nice curve, and then
So, like,
set
it's-
your
it's-
autopilot
it's,
to follow
it's
it.
only the North scale here, which is getting hammered down by the forts anyway. Like, none of the ships on the other side is even going to be able to shoot you, nor will they. They will shoot the forts.
2 minutes.
Can you actually conceal the forts with the smoke?
That's a good question. That might have been a better use. You in your dorm on the 4th floor, hoping that the building wouldn't collapse? I mean, yeah. Makes sense. Well, there's no spotted indicator over the fort, which makes me think maybe they wouldn't be hidden by the smoke. But it'd be fun to test it out and see.
Wait, how did you win that?
Held out long enough.
The time ran out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was looking at the timer on top, then said like 1:30. What was the wrong timer?
Yep. You had the will to win, which is a very fun achievement. It's basically a solo warrior for an operation. And C-Star.
I always aim to try to get C-Star. I feel like that's like the mandatory one.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, right? So, almost 600,000 credits, 150,000 damage, some good XP. You're using some boosters there. 4 kills. Yeah. Excuse me. Carrier economy laughs at you. Got the kill on the Ranger, Nicholas.
The main reason I did an operation over Pinata is because I'm just a sucker for operations.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, for this time, I mean, this was 14 and a half minutes, right? For this amount of time, you would have already most likely finished a Pinata battle, and assuming it was a win, made more XP. That's the tough part. If Pinata's not around, operations is where I'd be. I totally agree with you. But just a thought, just a suggestion, you know. You can dabble a bit more in PvP stuff, but nice credit boosters there. Looks like you're running blues.
Yep.
Yeah. Where'd you get those blues, I wonder?
Christmas containers.
All right, well, let's take a look at your replay render here. Make sure I have the right one. There you go. Yeah, I agree with Grunty. The initial, like, smoke the channel there might have been really helpful for your team. But you had no way of knowing that your Benson was going to find a way to die that quickly.
I have no clue what this Benson was doing. That was
I don't even know why he turned around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was this Gneiss now parking on this island like for the whole game? Did he just went at the start there and never left?
Pretty much.
Yep. I told you, a lot of secondary battleships like to do that because it's easy, right? You just show up and let your secondaries do stuff and let the enemy come to you. And you're in a heal, so you get healed the whole time.
I just find it so weird because like the island is in the way for the secondaries, blocking a lot of them to even be able to shoot. It seems so counterintuitive to hack an island in a secondary battleship.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I said, you get the heal, so you last a lot longer, and your secondaries are firing because they're coming to you. I've seen I see secondary battleships parked there all the time on this operation. And usually you lose because of it, but...
Battleships this operation were questionable.
Well, of course. The Benson was very questionable. The cruisers did work.
They tried. Yeah, they absolutely did try. I don't know what the Mogami ended up doing, but the Harvey was definitely pulling his weight.
Yep. I mean, it's no different than Narai. You see battleships that go in, secondary battleships that just park themselves at that heel when they're at the landing zone. Look at the Vanguard.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my
look at
god.
the Mogami just charging into everything on this side. Uh, like, what?
I'm just more. The Vanguard literally just had his T crossed. He just went. Oof.
I have a very distinct picture in my head seeing that Vanguard in that position, and it's not family friendly.
Robocop. Which my wife just watched again this last weekend. Wanted something fun to watch, so I said I'm feeling RoboCop.
You could have, right here, you could have turned your ship around to park it like in D3 behind the islands and have that as cover.
Yep.
Oh, I could have.
Yep. And then as the North Carolina Cleveland continued to advance, you could actually get behind them, right? You could continue to move the ship forward.
Yeah, and you have a better position to launch your planes, like a better angle to launch your planes at, without having to do the U-turn right at the beginning, which costs so much time.
Yeah, there were a lot of good moments in RoboCop. A lot of good moments. Red ships are getting better at focusing upon green team ships and certain changes in the game. That's why I've been taking fire prevention more often. Yeah, fire prevention is a nice skill to have on any ship that goes in. Anything, operations especially, but yeah. All right, Pac, that was a pretty good one. Thank you. I don't know what else there's to say about it.
I'm still learning the damn American. I'm not good at CVs in the slightest.
I'm thinking for a title, use the torps.
I'm thinking the title should be something along with like time management or something like this. I really believe like he could have easily, like, what was the damage in the end? Like 137,000 or so?
149.
I think you could have easily had like 30, 40 K more by just managing the time better and not recalling the torps so early when you have a full attack plus extra left.
Right. And I
But
see, Bear, that's where I
the
was.
drop itself seemed good. Like, it's always hard to judge on a replay with the bugs.
Yeah. But
The
see,
drop
Bear,
itself
that's
sound
where
good,
I
it's
was.
just like,
That's where I was going with use the torps, right? Luke, use the torps. Luke, use the torps.
but it's not just the torps. Like when you were saying, like he's sailing around on the ship like for like 20 seconds waiting for something.
He could have used the torps.
Or anything. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's drop the replay render here and let's go into the stream.